Hi, my name is Lori Koza from Beyond Bowz Boutique, and I'm going to show you today how to make a variation of the very popular wood grain tumblers. I kind of think of mine as more of, rather than wood grain, the tree bark itself. And if any of you are familiar with burl wood, I feel like some of the parts in it are like the crazy things that burl wood does. Burl wood is a burl on a tree is like a growth, where I kind of liken it to like a tumor. It's this great big thing that grows on the side of the tree. Most of you have probably seen the tables that are made out of a big slice of wood, and they're all swirly and that kind of thing. That's burl wood. So I think I'll call it the tree bark technique. So you can see that it has all kinds of textures, and it appears to have depth and whatnot. Here are some other versions that I've done. This one I believe was done with teak wood, which is what we're going to be using today, if I don't run out. The silly thing's kind of empty. This was done, I believe, with butterscotch. Kind of pretty. I don't know if it's representative of any particular tree, but it's fun. Again, we've got all the different depths and not quite as much going on with it as the other one, but still pretty fun. These cups haven't been epoxied, they've been powder coated with a clear coat over them. As that's what I have been doing for a few years. I just started doing epoxy cups in the last 2-3 months, having fun with it. This is fun right here. I like that one. So let's see, and then for the fun of it, I've done blue with an interesting seam. Not really going for an actual wood, I don't think. I was just messing around. That's really what this technique entails, is just playing around with the inks. I will say it over and over again, there's no right and there's no wrong to it. Here's another one that I think I was on a road trip and just playing around. And this is going to have this little guy on it. I have to redo him. But again, just having fun. Doing whatever. And then this one, my grandbabies, my 3 granddaughters. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Get these out of my way. Okay, so this is what goes with the resting beach face, goes with the llama there, if I ever get it put on there. So what you're going to need is 91% alcohol. I use only one brush, and that's this little fan brush, which is at the widest part about 1.25 inches. So it puts up with a lot of abuse. It's all I use. Normally I would use the little glass dishes available at Dollar Tree, 2 of them for $1. But to save space right here, I'm using just these little ketchup thingies. This one has my alcohol in it. This one has my ink in it. I'm not liking these because when I go to get, one of these with my brush, they move around. So they'll work okay for this, but I don't normally like it. So here's my Tim Holtz, what's the Ranger, I guess they're called, alcohol ink teak wood. I hope we can get through with this. There's not much in there. So teak wood, I really like teak wood. Oh, I had another one to show you. I don't know where it went. One with espresso, which is much darker, more of a black to the brown. And I just really like the teakwood better. So let's get started. I'm going to put a little bit more alcohol in my little cup there. You're going to want to start with a nice white cup, minus a dog hair. Actually, I don't even know what that was because my dogs don't have that long a hair. And I'm blonde, so I'll look towards my husband. You want to start with a nice white base. This was just spray painted. I must say I did a pretty good job on it. I'm used to powder coating, and that's not bad for a spray paint job. You're going to want white because, well, you'll see as we go along, it's going to give you the contrast that you need showing through. And you'll see as we go along why you want it white. So let's get started with it. You don't want to put too much ink out at a time because it does dry fast, but you can also revive it. Like I could put a little bit of alcohol in there right now and revive that. In fact, I think my brush, well, no, it's okay. I was going to say, I think it's starting to dry out, but I think it's okay. And you want something protecting your surface. This is a work surface, so I'm not terribly worried about it. If this were a dining room table, you'd want something really good to protect it. So what you're going to do is, to get started, I'm going to add a little bit of alcohol to that. I think because it's getting to be the bottom of my bottle, I think it's kind of thick. So you're just going to get a section of this based on kind of like what you would do if you were doing just the wood grain technique. So get some more ink out here. So what I'm going to show you first are some basic things that you can do. And if you do something and you love it, don't love it too much because it won't be sticking around most of the time. Things change as you go. That can be good and that can be bad. Okay, so now watch that change. But what I can do is if I want my lines in there, I'm going to push a little harder. And I'm going to do it over and over as it dries. And I'm pushing this. Do you see why you want white? Because you want that lighter. Now it's getting just gooey, so most of that will stay there now. But as I work nearby, things will happen, and it probably won't stay there. You'll see as we go along that will just disappear. That, and I'm just working in one small area. Basically, you're going to be working all over the cup as you go. It'll be like, oh, let's do this over here, and while that's drying, I'm going to go do this. So let's see. I'm going to grab a little bit more alcohol because this is drying over here. If I use the side of my brush, I can do, isn't that funny how it looks real red as it goes on? I can do these little numbers, and again it's gonna run together, which sometimes it looks fine when it runs together. Let's get this based out a little bit so I can keep moving. See, that's how it disappears. So use the side of your brush and push hard, and you see how when you push harder, you get the light areas. And I'm hoping that you can tell how this looks three-dimensional and how the dark area looks further away. It looks deeper, right? Same with over here. Well, we'll stick with over here. I'm not sure if you can see it quite as well over there. I might want to try to darken in the and then it's going to run, and then we're going to start over. That's what I'm talking about. If you love it, don't love it too much. Just play. There's no right or no wrong. If I don't like it, start over here. Okay, let's just start over. Okay, let this dry a second. I'm going to go over here. Let me show you what we can do. So we have these nice lines going right here, and it looks fairly textured, right? Let's see. Okay, see that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to test over here. Okay, I don't want it too wet, but I think it does have too much alcohol right now. I'm going to cross hatch over that a little bit. And that can make it look more rounded. You can just try that on different things. The alcohol definitely is making it go wider than I wanted, but you know, you just keep playing with it. You know, and somebody might say, well, that's not on wood. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is, you know. So I can do the same thing right here. I can give this some movement, you might say. It just kind of gives it some shape. So what I want you to see, and this is the #1 thing to remember about this, is that when you have the lighter area, let me get that again, go to the other side. I need some more ink. Oopsie, don't spill it. Don't have much. Okay, I'm going to try to go in dark next to this one. Now, do you see how let's get that glare off of there if we can. Do you see how this looks like it's popping up towards you? The lighter area appears to be closer to you, and the darker area seems to be like a crevice or a crease. You really can't paint with this like you normally would paint something. Like right now I'm trying to fill this in with dark, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's what you want. I'm not going to do what you want. I'm going to do something that I want. It's just, it does have a mind of its own. If you've ever worked with watercolors, it's just, they have a mind of their own, and you might leave it and think, oh, I really like that, and then you come back and it's completely different. It's like, oh man. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Okay, so see how, I hope that you can see how the lighter area looks higher to you? Is that a good way to put it? Raised, three-dimensional. Let's just go with three-dimensional. I added some, I took some alcohol there. Okay, I hope you're getting that idea. So now if I come against this one, give it some alcohol, then it should, nope, it's not. I was going to say it should lay down some dark for me on that edge. And then it can look three-dimensional. So, you know, again, you can do kind of a grain thing, you know, and repeat it going down. That's kind of a cool thing that we got going right there. You know, that's just kind of basic. But if you haven't used a fan brush, you probably haven't been able to get that effect. What you might want to do right there, where there's a what appears to be, to me, that looks like a hole going on right there already. So I might try to drop some dark in there if it'll let me. But again, it doesn't behave the way you want it to. So that ran together over there a little bit. I could leave that, or I could try lightly going over it like that. Okay, and now this just started something we'll go to next, and that's stippling, which it causes what I call the little warts on the tree. And so say this is a knot hole, which we'll be getting to knot holes in a moment. Basically, I picked up a little bit of alcohol. And basically, you're just going to touch it down, and it's going to create some awesome warts. And here where you can, I feel like you can really see how you get some depth. Okay, again, it's spreading out, and that's kind of neat. Those look a little smoother, but if I wanted them a little rougher, I could come in and keep working with it until it dries and get some really small ones if I wanted. Just play and be patient. Okay, it's really spread now because, you know, I did start out with, I'll get a little dot of ink, see what we can do. So that's kind of cool, yeah? And you could just keep playing with that until, you know, maybe they come down here. The warts on that tree. So what do you think of that? And if I wanted to, then I could, if it wasn't dried up, I could darken that hole a little bit. And now we'll go to and do a knot hole. See, my cups are getting away. All right, so we did this part up here. Let's move down and do the knot hole. If we can get that far, because I really have run out of ink. So we've got kind of a smooth thing going on there. Let's keep that center part dark if we can, darker. Let's do just some weird stuff out here. We want this to be lighter than the inside of the knot hole, because we now know, don't we, that let's just do weird things here. It's going to change anyway. Push that dark away, and I grabbed some alcohol. We'll do some of our stippling right here. And I'm going to grab some alcohol and grab up some of this ink out here. See if I can push it to the center here. It's so sticky out there. We don't need all that out there. Conserve ink when you're running out. Alcohol we have plenty of. Do you see how simple that is to get a nice outside part of your knot hole? And again, like we did above, go back and play around with it. Now, all we really need to do, and we'll see if I have any left, is to try to put some, see if I can get any out. It is done. Try to dab some on. Don't try this at home. It's actually working pretty well. It's not running, that's nice. So So you just want that center hole to be darker, and it's going to spread out a little bit. Try to keep it contained if you can. So some things before we finish up here, to know about alcohol inks if you've never played with them before, is that before you spray them, if you're going to seal it, or before you epoxy, let them dry really, really, really well. No less than 24 hours. Mine are powder coated, and I would always let them a good couple days. So otherwise they will run. Let's just say they can run, and they can change colors. Now some say that the colors come back, but I don't think you want to chance that. So I'm going to do some grain things going on here and lighten this up right here. So let them dry. And then the other thing you need to know is while it's drying, before it's been sealed, they scratch off. The ink scratches off very easily. And so if they're knocking around against other cups, this kind of thing, you're going to end up having to touch it up, and that's going to mean waiting longer to let it dry. And like if you set it, you've done your bottom and you set it on a table, then that's going to be a problem. It's going to scratch away, and then again you're going to have to you want to do a little transition thingy here, perhaps. What was I saying? You don't want to have to wait for it to dry again. So just put it someplace nice and soft. Okay, so I think you get the idea. If you actually have some ink left, like I don't, try to come back in here and give it, another darker, a dark area. If I mess with it right now, it's just going to get lighter. So, so you would just play with this. This, is dry, so it's a different color. This is going to be, it's going to blend in more. You can see over here where it's already that color. But do different things around it if you want. Just play with it. And that's that. So I hope that this has helped you get an idea of how to do the TreeBark method. Again, my name is Lori Koza. Beyond Bowz Boutique. Do the like thing and all that. Appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.